Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
And welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your world. Since the last opportunity we had to spend a little time with you, roughly some 24 hours ago. Speaking of 24 hours ago, one of the things that we touched on yesterday's edition of the Clarence Bug Show is how the media is attempting to spin a narrative regarding the explosion in crime in major cities and smaller cities, for that matter, all across America. Esteemed, if I could use that word, member of the squad, AOC, saying this week that it's not really a crime problem, it's just hysteria. We can't, get caught up in the hysteria of the moment. We have to look at these things in context. I love it when I'm proven right. One of the things, when I saw this story, it saddened me deeply because it involves a city that, for people in the capital region, once involved a rite of passage. It was almost a sacred rite of passage. My friends in New Orleans that grew up there, for them, it's a different scenario from those of us that grew up in the capital region. It was a well-known, established rite of passage that when you got your first driver's license and you were able to drive after dark, the biggest thing in your life was your first trip by yourself or with your friends or whomever, driving to New Orleans. It was a rite of passage. I mean, you'd heard about Bourbon Street, you'd heard about all these wonderful things. Now you've got a driver's license and you're able to go on your own. That signified an official, unofficial step into adulthood. And of course, you were given by friends, relatives, parents, certain admonitions. You were told, don't go to this part of town. Don't go to that part. Don't park your car in this type scenario, and so on and so forth. It saddened me to see this story, and it shows, once again, proof positive, just how out of touch with reality Democrats / liberals / progressives are. AOC informed us this week that all of this talk about percentage increases in crime, that's just hysteria. Well, a new survey from the New Orleans Crime Coalition was released this week, and it shows an overwhelming majority of the residents who live in New Orleans feel that crime has gotten worse and the city is not safe. According to this poll, 74% of New Orleanians feel that crime has gotten worse over the past year, and 64% of New Orleanians that took part in the poll say they don't feel that the city is safe. 64%. That's comprised of people that say the city is, quote, not that safe, or, quote, not safe at all. 33% said they felt, quote, fairly safe. Only 2% said the city is, quote, very safe. 2% out of 100 that said the city is very safe. Now, for a city that arguably has as its biggest economic engine tourism, that does not bode well for that city. For a city that relies on individuals coming in from all around the world, as they do, to sample and experience the food, the culture, the music, the people, etc., etc., etc. What does that say to those people? Not to mention, what Fortune 500 company is going to consider moving or expanding their business to this city and asking their workforce to relocate to a city where 64% of the people who live there say this place is not safe? And yet, the mainstream media, the Democrats / liberals / progressives would have you believe it's a non-existent problem. It's just hysteria. You know, I understand people are who they are and they do what they do, particularly when you're talking politicians. Listen, y'all, I've been doing this long enough to know that the politicians are all about an agenda, and the politicians at the end of the day really don't care a whole lot about regular folk like us. It's hard to blame them when you consider how we fall for this crap over and over and over again. Now, I don't know about you, but in the state that I love, and the city that used to have a very, very special place in my heart, I will take the opinion of Louisianians, New Orleanians in this case, who live there any freaking day of the week over the likes of an AOC. Now, it's not for me to tell you how to vote. You're an American. It's a sacred duty. It is an honor and a privilege. And it's something that you have to answer to yourself for your choices. But the fact of the matter is, Democrats have run that city for decades. And at the end of the day, be you black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever, Republican, Democrat, independent, whether you are religious, agnostic, atheist, whatever, whether you're gay, straight, or God knows how many other alphabets we've got in that line these days, you deserve better. At the end of the day, to have a jewel the likes of New Orleans, someplace that is so steeped in history, culture, to not be able to freely go and enjoy it the way it should, well, that's one thing for those of us that live here. But if we truly hope to ever be anything near where we have the potential to be, we got to fix this, y'all. We got to fix this. And I can only imagine, I am not alone in this regard, seeing these numbers from the people who actually live there, seeing news reports all the time of the crime going on there. I don't know the geographical makeup of New Orleans well enough to say, okay, I mean, I can't tell you the difference between the 9th Ward and the 2nd Ward. I can't tell you where the Bywater ends and the Irish Channel begins. I can't tell you what is the line of demarcation between uptown and downtown. I don't know the city that well. So as a result, what am I forced into doing? Yep, staying away, not going. As a guy that loves this state dearly, and at one time had a serious love affair with the city of New Orleans, I can't tell you how much that hurts. But what hurts even more is when Democrats, in pursuit of an agenda, lie to you and tell you, well, things really aren't that bad. Apparently, the people that live in the city of New Orleans, they beg to differ. And in case you hadn't noticed, it's not just New Orleans. Start on the West Coast and work your way across the length and breadth of this grand republic all the way to the East Coast. Primarily in Democrat-controlled cities, and you will hear the same thing over and over and over again. Just a little something to make you go, First break of today's show. When we come back, we are instituting a brand new segment intended to combat, speaking of, the media, the politicians, and their agenda. Racism alert. That's next on the Clarence Bug Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owe the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Team Honda wants to thank you for once again making us Louisiana's #1 new car dealer by offering you never-before-seen savings. For the first time ever, get 0% financing up to 60 months on some of your favorite Honda models. Get thousands in savings right now at Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back for segment 2 of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. We today debut the inaugural segment that I've been thinking about for some time now. With this ever incessant, day after day after day drumbeat from the mainstream media and the politicians about how evil and how racist America is, I thought we'd institute a segment that would give you an opportunity to look at what's being peddled to you as racism in a different light. When you hear individuals make it a point to only look at the negative things, you start to wonder, what, if any, consideration are they giving to the positive things? So this segment is entitled, as the graphic shows you, Racism Alert. Now, let me say for the record, I'm no Pollyanna. I've been doing this long enough and been alive and an American long enough to know that, yeah, there are some folks out there that harbor racist ideas and opinions. Fact of the matter is, we are a nation of close to 350 plus million people. So you will always have morons among us. As a matter of fact, with every passing day, I am more convinced than ever that buried in the Constitution somewhere in very fine print is the statement, it's America. You got a right to be a moron. You don't have to, but if that's what you choose to, you have a right to. Speaking of Louisiana folk, Anthony Mackie, you may know the name as a New Orleanian. You may know the name as the guy that starred in The Falcon and The Winter Soldier from the Marvel superhero movie series. He is the guy that has been tabbed, the torch has been passed to him as the new Captain America. Anthony Mackie, in accepting this role, took America to task, saying that it was humbling to accept the role, but it's also difficult because America prevents black men from succeeding. Quote, I've worked so long in this business and I've done so many things that I felt were not appreciated or overlooked, or things that were not considered to be worthy of promotion. And this is like my first promotion. Let me stop you right there, Mr. Mackie. And I'm not saying this is the case. I'm saying it's a consideration. You know what they call that? Life. Maybe you weren't good enough at that time to earn the promotion. Maybe you needed more time to hone your craft. Maybe you weren't the right guy in the right place at the right time. That's called life. But at the end of the day, for you to automatically assume that it's racism makes a thinking person want to delve into this. Quote, I've worked so long in this business and I've done so many things that I felt were not appreciated or overlooked, or things that were not considered to be worthy of promotion. Well, first of all, who have you worked with and for all these years? Hollywood, La La Land, the place of make-believe. And who is it that runs Hollywood? In case you don't know, Hollywood is the bastion of liberalism. It is the most liberal of all the liberals concentrated in one place. So if you've been in this business, quote, all these years, maybe you need to look at the folks who run Hollywood / liberals. He goes on to say, and I love this part, he goes on to say, quote, the fear of representing a country who doesn't represent you, was something that's not only unfathomable, but hard to overcome. My dad always used to say, greatness is as far as you can see it. What hurts me as a man of color, and particularly a conservative man of color, is that Mr. Mackie, and you can attribute it to what you want, life experiences, influence from the media, politicians, whatever, but he doesn't possess the ability to realize this flag does represent him, and he represents it. And here's what I mean. In a country where slavery was once legal, we have since rectified that. We fought a freaking war among ourselves. Family members fought family members and died. Mothers fought daughters. Sons fought dads. Neighbors fought neighbors, because they were of the opinion that people that look like Clarence, they are just as capable of learning and earning as anybody else. And in that short span of time, since fighting this war amongst ourselves in this country, In that short span of time, we have had black governors, black members of Congress, black members of the highest court in the land, the United States Supreme Court. Hell, we elected a black man leader of the free world not once, but twice. And here you are now, as a black man, getting to play what is arguably the most iconic role in all of superhero-dom. I just made up a word, that's just for y'all. The most iconic role, Captain freaking America, played by a man of color. Does that not show you how far we've come? But all Mr. Mackey wants to do is remain locked in that little bitty tiny box of racism. Dude, do you realize you are playing Captain America? What does that tell you, if you're honest with yourself, about how far we've come? Mr. Mackey also points out in this interview that, quote, "My dad always used to say, greatness is as far as you can see it." You know what's truly sad about this? Apparently, Anthony Mackie cannot see as far as the mirror. It is the greatness of this country that after fighting a war against ourselves, in a short span of time, you, sir, a black man, is playing Captain America for Marvel. That's greatness, y'all. That's greatness. Of course, now, this is what happens when you live, work, play in La La Land. This is what happens when you spend your life in the realm of make-believe. See, you've been there so long, and you listen so much to the mainstream media and the Democrats / liberals / progressives, you don't realize that the America that you are painting with this broad, ugly brush, that's not America, that's Hollywood. Get out of the bubble. Get out of Hollywood and come to real America. Get out of Hollywood and come and see what real, hardworking, decent, honest Americans are all about. Of course, now, that's not going to help with the narrative. But at the end of the day, narrative be damned. Don't downgrade, denigrate, and call my country all sorts of ugly freaking names when you are the one that's benefiting the most from what is allegedly a bastion of racism. You ever notice the people that complain the most about America, the people that talk about America the worst, are the ones who benefit the most? Some of y'all ain't gonna get that till later, but that's okay as long as you get it. Go down the list. Whoopi Goldberg, Samuel L. Jackson, Scottie Pippen. I don't have enough time to complete the list. Go down the list of these people that will tell you the boogeyman of racism is hiding behind every nook and cranny in your path today. And look at how well they've done in this country. A little something else to make you go, huh. Like I say, some of y'all not going to get that till later, but that's okay as long as you get it. Bottom of the hour break. We'll get this done. Come back and talk a little Louisiana stuff as we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It is mere days away now for many of us. And listen, y'all, I will never make excuses for this. It is what it is, and I'm proud of it, particularly having grown up in a military household with the dad that wore the uniform of the United States Army for 28 years. Independence Day has a very special place in my heart, and always has, and it always will. Now, that being said, it is the time of year where in many locales, the time-honored and age-old tradition of shooting off fireworks, your own fireworks, it's that time of year again. Little heads up for those of you that are planning to indulge. First, a note of caution. As you all know, it varies from location to location, locale to locale, metro to metro, the legality of possessing and firing fireworks for the 4th of July or New Year's. Govern yourselves accordingly. But for those of you that live in a place where they are allowed, just so you know, be prepared for some sticker shock. Something you probably never think much about. The overwhelming majority of fireworks that are sold at a retail level are all made either in China or other places overseas. And of course, with the COVID lockdowns and the like, there is a major shortage of fireworks. And of course, you know, if you all were not sleeping during economics class, or if you weren't sleeping during American history, you understand that in our system, our society, When there's a shortage of things, the price goes up. Simple supply and demand. When there's a glut on the market, too much of it, or nobody wants to buy it, then the price goes down. As you might imagine, everybody wants to celebrate not just the 4th, but of course the relaxing of COVID-19 rules and regs and lockdowns and the whole nine. So as a result, prices are going to probably give you a little sticker shock. You're not going to go in and, spend what normally your budget allowed for fireworks for the 4th of July. Nowhere near that. As a matter of fact, some fireworks companies, stands, distributors are informing us that they've seen a 50% reduction in supply. There are problems with shipping. There are problems with factories getting back up to speed. And, of course, there's an increased demand. So when you bundle throw everybody in the car and you head to the place where you go every year to get your fireworks, just be advised, little heads up, that it's going to cost you a whole lot more this year. That being said, we also encourage all of you, because it's probably going to start pretty soon, heading into the weekend. It is arguably the most emergency room visits of any time frame of the entire year. And just think back to when, you were a kid and all the stuff you did with fireworks that you really had no business doing, and how close you came to losing a finger, an eye, arm, or whatever. You are supposed to get wiser with age, y'all. Notice I said supposed to. Govern yourselves accordingly. And with all that the first responders have been through this year behind COVID and things of that nature, with all they've been through, let's do our part and try to give them a break for the 4th of July by not having this overwhelming number of fireworks-related accidents at the various ERs all across the state of Louisiana. This next story that I ran across last night, I guess it would best be summarized under the heading, it's not your day when, and you fill in the blank from there. Guy in Plaquemine decides, for whatever reason, today would be a good day for me to get out and pretend I'm a law enforcement officer. I'm sure probably at some point in just about everyone's life, we all thought about what it would be like to be a law enforcement officer. I mean, there's not a whole lot of other jobs out there where you can, legally pack a firearm. You are charged with the duty and obligation of enforcing the laws, and in many communities, despite what the media tells you, still be held in very high esteem. But we also understand, most of us do, that they are underappreciated, they're outmanned, they're outgunned, and they're seriously underpaid. So the majority of us say, well, thanks, but no thanks. We'll let somebody else handle that. I get it. I understand. But this 27-year-old gentleman in Napoleonville, Louisiana, decided for whatever reason today would be a good day for me to impersonate a law enforcement officer. So 27-year-old Vincent Marks gets in his car and proceeds to pretend to be a law enforcement officer. So what does he do? He pulls the car over under the guise of something being wrong, and I'm a law enforcement officer, and I saw you do such and such. That's why I pulled you over. You know it's not your day when you wake up in the morning and you decide, you know what, this would be a good day to impersonate a law enforcement officer. And the first guy you pull over is an off-duty law enforcement officer. Oh, but it gets better. It gets a lot better. After pulling over this off-duty law enforcement officer, the law enforcement officer looks at him and says, "Hey, wait a minute. I know you. We got a warrant out for you." Of all the people in Napoleonville he could have pulled over, number one, it's an off-duty policeman. Number two, it's an off-duty policeman that remembers you from the warrant sheet. Sometimes it's just not your day. Sometimes it's not your day. There are others out there that will say, Clarence, I might go a little bit further than sometimes it's not your day. You know what they're saying, right? Clarence, karma is a bleep. You know what they're saying. This guy, like most criminals, spend more time, energy, and effort into an illegal activity that's probably at some point bound to fail than getting a real job. I mean, can you imagine the preparation that goes into impersonating a police officer? You got to rig some lights up on the car. You got to get a fake badge. You got to get a uniform. You have to do all sorts of stuff to pull off this impersonation. When, if you have, as some, I don't know, fetish maybe, you want to be a law enforcement officer. Well, as bad as we need good ones these days, get your sorry behind in the academy, pass, and become a legitimate one. But as the case is so very many times with idiots like this, and this relates back to the last segment, to all the folks crying fake racism, this, just like that, the fake racism cry, damages the brand of the true individuals and instances. It's, in the case of the racism and the false cries, it's the boy who cried wolf syndrome. I know they probably don't teach Aesop's fable. Wasn't the boy who cried wolf, Bill, wasn't that an Aesop fable? Yes, it was Aesop. I thought it was Aesop's, yeah. When you erroneously, falsely claim over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, racism, 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 then people stop paying attention to the instances of true racism. Huh? There you go, Marty. Thank you. When you have clowns like this impersonating law enforcement, then you have people that, when approached by a genuine law enforcement officer, won't stop immediately. They got to ride around to find some place that's well lit, lots of people in public, because they don't know if this clown is somebody impersonating a law enforcement officer or a real one. At the end of the day, if it was only this guy that was damaged by these antics, that would be one thing. But it's not. Hopefully, they will throw the book at this clown. Hopefully, he will come to realize the error of his ways. I wouldn't bet on it. But you can't blame a guy for hoping. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done. Come back and talk more with you right where you've got it on today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
We're making 2021 the year of savings, and it starts right now at Team Toyota. Come get a new 21 Corolla for just $189 a month, or get a 20 Camry for just $19,995. It's a year full of savings starting right now, right here at Team Toyota.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. You know, if there is one sincere hope that I have for this country that I love so dearly, actually three, but I'll focus just on one, is that we learn to come to grips with the race situation in this country and around the world. Let me say for the record, I am one of those that's of the opinion it is nowhere near as bad as the media and particularly the liberal politicians would have you think. Yesterday, if you were with us, we talked about this Spanish teaching master's degree candidate from Spain, the white, quote-unquote, part of Spain, that decided to cancel herself because it wasn't right for a white woman to teach Spanish. And of course, she did all this after running across on Instagram a course on how to be a better, quote, white ally and anti-racist co-conspirator. She said, quote, I wish I could go back to students she had taught prior and tell my students not to learn power or correctness from this white woman. I would tell them to stand in their own power. White isn't right. We are deconstructing our emotions around acknowledging our whiteness and white privilege through the lens of grief and the process of grief. We talked about mourning our white morality. I'm holding myself accountable to this journey. Part of my accountability is to continue to struggle and grapple with my internalized white supremacy, dismantling white supremacy in my heart first. And it means I'm not going to teach Spanish. Accountability is ongoing because there is no end to the process. I mentioned earlier that I am sure, I've never been able to find it, but doggone it, it's got to be there somewhere. Buried in the Constitution in very fine print is, it's America. You got a right to be a moron. But here's the problem with people that think like this. I would venture a guess that 90+% of the people watching right now, when you were in school, sometime between first grade, hopefully, and 12th grade, you encountered a teacher that made, quote, the light come on for you. You encountered a teacher that inspired you and got you to be better than you thought you could be. For me, one of the three that impacted me the most was Mr. Ken Etheridge, my 6th grade humanities teacher in Kaiserslautern, Germany. Back then, to become a member of the National Geographic Society, you had to be nominated by an existing member. That was the only way you could get in. It was Mr. Ken Etheridge, a white humanities teacher, that made that possible for me and made me, partially, the man I am today. Here's my point. This teacher, in the interest of being politically correct, in the interest of shedding her white guilt, has decided to completely abandon, turn her back, not only on her profession, but what is arguably the most noble part of her profession. Understand something here. She didn't go into teaching to get rich. Anybody that knows anything about how we pay educators in today's society, they know you don't go into teaching to get rich. You go into teaching to change young lives. Now just imagine, if you will, this teacher in a failing inner city school, in a class full of young black students who are failing their native language of English, can't put 3 grammatically correct sentences together back to back to back. Can you imagine what would happen to the self-esteem of these poor black kids, or poor white for that matter, doesn't matter. Can you imagine what would happen to their self-esteem when they realize, whoa, I can speak another language? And if I can accomplish this, if I can learn to speak another language, I can also get better at English, and I can get better at all sorts of things. But she is going to deny these children the opportunity to inspire them. She is going to deny these children what is arguably the most noble part of her profession of inspiring them to be better than they are. All in the interest of being politically correct and shedding her white guilt. You know, if you follow all the way through to the logical conclusion the mindset of people like this, then that means there should not be my favorite all-time musical group, Tower of Power. Overwhelmingly white, play the hell out of some soul music like nobody else on the planet. But they're white. If you follow her logic all the way through, they shouldn't be playing soul music because they're white. If you follow this all the way through her logic, not mine, her logic, only white teachers should teach English. If you follow her logic all the way through, we will be divided, fractionalized more than we've ever been before. Of course, now, typically, that's what happens when we develop a system and punch out people like this poor, misguided, knuckleheaded, bless her heart teacher, and they don't possess the ability to think for themselves. Common sense is a wonderful thing, unless you don't have it. And a buddy of mine told me, said, Clarence, you always talking about common sense. I got news for you, bruh. I saw him waiting on the bus, and he left town about 3 days ago. Hard to argue with him, isn't it? This day, like every other, we are at 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue. You never know who you might see when you come in. You might walk in and we're recording or live, as the case is early in the day, the Clarence Bug Show. You may walk in and here's, I call him the Kingmaker, Uncle Roy. He and Bill Profita knocking out Fletch Nation podcast today. Or, you never know, you might see the Exiles themselves. But if you're not here, it's like the lottery. You got to be in it to win it. If you like good people, good food, good atmosphere, what are you waiting on? 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue. Well, my time is up, y'all, and I gotta go. But you already know the drill. This day, just like any other, maybe more so than any other. I give it to you. America, nah. We are not perfect in any way, shape, or form. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, it really doesn't matter because there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. See you tomorrow. God bless.